Good
Good
afternoon, sir.
afternoon. Good afternoon.
Uh,
So, how are you, Anjana?
All good, sir.
You don't seem to be in India.
No, sir, I'm in India only. I'm in Madhya Pradesh, sir, Jabalpur.
Okay, you are in Jabalpur right now. I thought your DAF mentions that you are in Uttarakhand.
Yes, sir, my father got posted out. Right now, we are in Jabalpur at this moment.
Okay, you are in Jabalpur. All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Uh, I was looking at your DAF. I'm surprised your father comes from Sonipat. Your mother comes from Jhajjar, but your address is Rohtak. How come?
So my grandparents decided to settle in Rohtak, and I was also born in Rohtak. So I think so. We have shifted our family base to Rohtak as of now, sir.
Okay. Which is the medical college in Rohtak? What is the name of medical college in Rohtak?
That's a very famous medical college, but I'm not able to recall it on the tip of my tongue. Sorry, sir.
Okay. Is it a medical college or a PGI?
So it's a PGI, but it
Mhm.
functions both as a college and as a hospital.
Okay. Okay. You have pursued, please give your introduction. I think I was just got lost in your, so please introduce yourself.
So my name is ANJNA Dahiya. I come from Haryana, but I've studied in various states. I've done my class 10th from Loreto Convent, Shimla, and my class 12th from Army Public School, Dholakwa. I did my graduation in psychology from Lady Shri Ram College, and I did my post graduation also in psychology from Delhi University.
All right. Hobbies.
So my hobbies include playing badminton and cycling in my free time.
Okay. And that's
So
it.
yes, sir.
Okay. Can I say, looking at your DAF and the way you have introduced, that you pursue only the latest hobbies? Badminton, cycling, that is biking, multi-geared cycling. I'm sure it's not a common Atlas cycle made in the district where your father was born, right?
Yes, sir, but I think so to call it elitist would be wrong because
Mhm.
cycling as a lifestyle, I think so everyone should adopt. And India is also kind of moving towards it through our life mission. We're aiming to bring behavioral changes in the lives of people, and
Mhm.
we're aiming to build our public transport in a very seamless manner. And cycling will form a very important component of that.
But
And for as
Anjana,
of
tell
playing
me,
badminton, so I think so. Badminton requires very less infrastructure, and anyone can quickly pick up that as a hobby. So, and the growing importance of badminton in India is also reflected in the medals that we are winning.
what is the cost of a shuttle?
So, a feather shuttle will be more expensive, but a plastic shuttle will cost around 200 to 250 rupees, sir.
You know, where 80 crore people have to be fed from the government granary, you think they can afford the luxury of a 200 rupees shuttle and a racket that may cost them 1,000 rupees?
So for that, schools are a very good place to begin with. For
Mhm.
example, we have physical education in our schools. So badminton courts are usually present even in government schools to inculcate the hobby of playing badminton. And the government is doing a fantastic job through missions like Halo India, where they're providing the basic infrastructure and facilities, like
I,
providing badminton rackets and shuttles to the aspiring athletes.
I would recommend you to go around the rural areas of Jabalpur and see a school for yourself, right? Okay. All right. Uh, you have pursued psychology, right? I
Yes.
want to get into the brain and mind, but during COVID, there was a spike in suicides. Can you explain psychologically? You are a clinical psychologist. So, what happened and why there was a spike?
So during COVID, all of a sudden, everyone got isolated with one another. The contact of human touch was lost, and all of a sudden, we were thrust into an unknown area which was not experienced by humans before. So the kind of isolation that they faced was unprecedented. plus the kind of work pressures that they faced sitting from home and not able to get the basic supplies also in need, and seeing their loved one in crisis also further aggravated the issue. So the issue of depression, the issue of bipolar disorders not being diagnosed and treated, and there were also a shortage of clinical psychologists available on call. So I think so all of these factors together led to an aggravated crisis, which resulted also in rising cases of suicides.
How are we placed so far as the mental health infrastructure is concerned vis-a-vis normal health infrastructure?
Sir, there is definitely lag between the mental health infrastructure and the medical health infrastructure. Although the government has its program, National Mental Health Program, but it has not been updated since the year 1982. So I think so. First, we need to update our National Mental Health Program up to the date with the current facilities, and we need to bring more awareness and rope in community workers. For example, nowadays even ASHA workers are being roped in for prevention and diagnosis of mental health cases, especially in rural areas. So, innovative steps like this will help to bridge the gap between the medical health and the mental health.
Don't you think if you join the civil service, we will lose a very promising clinical psychologist who could be of use to the citizen at large?
So I think so. My expertise will benefit also the civil service area, and at the same time, I feel that more promising people are coming in the clinical psychologist area. So I can contribute myself further to the government service on a larger institutionalized scale, and help implement the policies also of mental health, which will have a longer and more lasting impact on the population.
Okay. You play badminton. Two questions on badminton. Recently, India team uh, achieved something really big. What was that?
So we won the Asian World Championship Badminton tournament, and we defeated Thailand. So it was the first time that India won gold in that
Was
area.
it Asian World Championship or Asian Championship? Or we look at the world as Asia?
So I would have to recheck the name. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. All right. And second is when you are playing singles, right, in badminton, tell me of 7 ways of making a foul.
7 weeks
There are more, but I'm asking you only 7.
of making a foul, sir.
Yes, foul service.
Foul service.
Hmm.
All right, sir.
Let's count.
So one of the foul service will be if I don't hold my racket in a right position, if the racket is above my waist.
1.
The next will be if the duration between the shuttle and the racket is of a longer duration. I leave the shuttle in between the air only, and there's a longer duration between touching of the shuttle and the racket.
2.
Third, if I do a short service,
3.
if the shuttle falls.
I know that.
Okay.
3.
Fourth, if the shuttle falls in the area which is demarcated for the doubles area, the outside the court area, which is
outside the court is fully out. What do you mean?
if the shuttle
There is a particular name for that area. What is that?
Yes, I'm not able to recall. Sorry.
That side gallery.
Side gallery. Yes, sir.
Why wouldn't you know if you play badminton? Anyway, okay. 4.
I'll refine myself on the
4. 4.
knowledge, sir.
4. Next.
Fifth, sir, if the shuttle obviously hits the net and it's not
5.
able to pass. So I would have to think a bit more.
Why wrong court service?
Wrong court service. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And a long service.
And a long service. Yes, sir.
There are few more ways. Just look at that.
Yes.
Okay, there is a saying in Haryana, "So Kotki." Will you complete it?
Sir, actually, I've never lived over there for a very long duration. I only visit there to my grandparents' place in my holidays.
So you don't know ki 100 Kotki?
No, sir, I'm
Ask your
sorry.
grandfather, maybe 100 Kotki, ek Rotki.
All right, sir.
They are equal. Rotkis are so mischievous that 100 mischievous people are no match to one Rotki.
All right, sir.
All right. Okay. What are the reforms in the UNSC? My last question. What are the reforms in the UNSC that you will consider?
So the first major reform is to enlarge the number of permanent members in the UNSC because the current world order is not reflected in the UNSC seating arrangement. The next will be to rethink on the idea of veto. Maybe we can modify it to be
Who all
more.
should be included?
So the India, of course, as well as the African nations, and we have also we have a group of nations which are considering the various dimensions as to which all nations should be added. So India is definitely one
Which are
content.
the 5 countries now who wield the veto power?
So France, United Kingdom, United States of America, Russia, and People's Republic of China.
Okay. All right. All right. I get your pith of the answer. Thank you so much. Over to my co-panelist.
Okay,
Thank you.
welcome, Anjana. I
Yeah.
enjoyed your answers which you were giving. Now, tell me, as a psychologist, suppose you are posted in a state, say state of Rajasthan, as a young IAS officer, and there's a burning problem of suicides in Kota. It
Yes,
is
sir.
also in view. And you have been given the task to suggest some steps which government should then tell the coaching institutes to follow, so that this tragedy could be stopped. So, what are the steps as a psychologist or as a young officer you will like the government to suggest to these coaching institutes and to be followed?
So the first and foremost should be that an in-house psychologist or a counselor should be available at call in all the coaching institutions, and they should regularly make surveillance of the children, especially people who are more vulnerable to commit such acts. So maybe a pre-assessment of all the students can be done so that we have a base level assessment of the anxiety levels, of the depression levels, and the psychologist can intervene beforehand, before any tragedy occurs. The second will be to have a more conducive environment in the coaching institution. For example, in areas like Kota, because of social isolation from the parents, a lot of children are also going into drugs and gaming industries, and they're not able to concentrate on their studies. So the side effect of drugs plus not able to focus on studies also lead to an undue kind of pressure. So there should be crackdown on the industry of drugs near the coaching institute. The third would be to involve the parents also, to guide them and to tell them that you need to give regular support to your children. You cannot leave your children alone to the coaching industry. The onus lies on you also. And so fourth would be that to maybe make the children more emotionally available, maybe by making them spend time with kind of animals. For example, animal therapy is a very good therapy to reduce depression among students. So when we interact with animals, we feel a kind of love which is not felt. They're not kind of demanding. They only want love from us. So that can also reduce our stress levels.
Okay, fine, fine. See, the counseling, the psychological counseling is very prominent, popular in the Western countries and developed countries, which people regularly go to counselors. In India, there is a taboo. If somebody is going to counsel, then he may be mental. So why this thing is ingrained in our society and how to change that? It's slowly changing, but still not many people have the lot of problems, mental problems, but they don't go to a counselor.
Yes, absolutely. Like you rightly pointed out, there is a taboo in India. And the first thing to be done is to spread awareness. So, when celebrities come out of their stories, for example, Deepika Padukone had stepped out and said that even I had faced depression and I took help. So, that kind of reduces the stigma when we have positive role models stepping up and saying that despite everything, you need to prioritize your mental health. Second would be, sir, the government taking initiatives. For example, the Telemanas helpline kind of also reduces stigma because you don't have to meet the counselor. You just have to make a phone call and tell them that maybe I'm contemplating suicide and I need help. So that kind of reduces the stigma because no one else will come to know. You only have to make a phone call. And sir, the third would be to spread awareness in the rural health sector. For example, like I previously also mentioned that ASHA workers are doing that, bridging that critical health care gap by reducing the stigma in rural areas.
Fine. So I come to a different topic. See, this UCC, the Uniform Civil Code. Oh, one question is that Uttarakhand model, which Uniform Civil Code they introduced, there's a clause of live-in relationship registration and also deregistration when the relationship ends. Don't you think it is intrusion into privacy of citizens? That is one part. Second part, we are readying ourselves to introduce Uniform Civil Code all over India. Is it the right time to introduce the Uniform Civil Code, and what are the challenges to introduce Uniform Civil Code all over India?
So the first question that you asked, live-in relationship, I feel that it is not an invasion of privacy because we are not interfering with their day-to-day life. We are just telling them that please register yourself and let the government know that you are in a living relationship, so that if anything wrong happens, the government is there to protect, especially the women. Because in living relationships, unfortunately, the women can be exploited by her partner, as we have seen in many cases in the news also. And when we legally recognize live-in relationship, that will also reduce the stigma in the society, that it is not something unlawful. It's a legally lawful thing that you are allowed to live in with your partner. There is nothing wrong with that. So it will.
Second part of the question.
So the second part is that UCC has a lot of challenges to be implemented pan-India. Even the Law Commission said that it should be done in a phased manner. So I feel, sir, the area-wise challenges should be identified, and especially the state-wise challenges. Plus, we should also remove the fear that many communities have that it might take away their rights, which is a wrong understanding of the Uniform Civil Code. If we can have a uniform criminal code, we should also aspire for a uniform civil code. And I feel it can be done in a phased manner rather than a knee-jerk reaction for pan-India.
Okay, fine. Now tell me, I come to a different topic again. There is a old pension scheme and new pension scheme. Suppose you are posted in a state and employees are demanding reverting back to old pension scheme. Now government gives you the task to negotiate or talk to the association representative and convince them to take back their demands. How will you do that?
So first of all, I will listen to the demands, that what all are the demands and what all challenges do they feel that the new pension scheme they're facing with the new pension scheme. Then I would tell them about the advantages of the new pension scheme. For example, a study was published and it was saying that the kind of benefits you will get from new pension scheme in the end will be more likely more than the old pension scheme, because India's economy is growing at a faster rate. So the kind of returns you will get from the new pension scheme will definitely be more greater than the old pension scheme. Plus, we also need to tell them that the old pension scheme is financially unsustainable. So it is not a viable solution even for themselves and for the government also to consider the demands.
Okay, tell me, what is our country's tax base?
So country's tax base in terms of income tax or indirect taxes also?
Indirect taxes only.
Indirect taxes also.
Direct taxes.
Direct taxes. So it is around 1 to 2% of our population direct.
What steps you will suggest? Because it is very low to believe that only 1 or 2% persons having income above the threshold limit of paying taxes, because the number of luxury vehicles and the luxury things being sold in the country is much higher than the percentage. Data does not match. Okay, what steps you will suggest to the government to increase the tax base?
So to increase the tax base, it is important to document the income of all the citizens of India. So a formalized documentation can be taken on the individualized level so that we are able to target our interventions on sectors which are not paying income tax.
How to do that? Now, formal documentation is a very vague term. How to do formal documentation of the population 140 crore people?
Sir, honestly, I would have to read a bit more about that because I don't know the technical aspects of it.
So if I say that there is no incentive to pay taxes, let there be some incentive so that others are encouraged to pay taxes. Suppose if I go to a hospital like AIMS, government hospital, Safdarjung Hospital, I go and I have to wait in a queue for 2 hours, 3 hours as a common man. Suppose there is a separate queue for taxpayers.
Mhm.
He
Yes.
feel proud that since I'm taxpayer, I'm given little priority somewhere. Are some such symbolic things which encourage people who were not paying taxes to pay taxes and avail that thing. Is it a good idea or not a good idea? It should be treated, everybody should be treated equally. There no VIP treatment to taxpayers.
So this is actually a good idea. It works on the model of rewarding the good behavior. Even our economic survey also talked about it, that maybe we can name roads on the highest taxpayers' names. So even like you rightly pointed out, maybe having special benefits for the taxpayers can motivate people to pay more taxes.
So, Anjana, it was nice talking to you. With this, we end our interview. Now, I tell my colleague, Mr. Sumesh Goyal, to please give your feedback, and you also tell what is your own assessment of today's interview. Sumesh Goyal, you are muted. You are muted.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Sumesh Goyal, please unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Now,
Anjana,
Yes.
we'll send you out to the waiting room for a minute.
All right, sir.
Then we'll call you. I'll give you the feedback.
Yes, sir.
If I leave anything, my colleague will supplement in that.
Yes.
And you can ask us questions if you have any. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Janvi, kindly send her to the waiting room for a minute. Hanji,
John,
Anjana, unmute yourself, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Anjana, how many mocks have you had?
So I've given around 5-6 mocks.
When is the interview?
Sir, 3rd April.
So you have plenty of time. So how many more mocks you want to have?
So I'll give around 2-3 more. I think so, not more than that.
Not more than that. I would go with your judgment. I think it was a pleasure interacting with you. All right. This is your first attempt at the first interview at the UPSC.
Yes, sir.
Right. Let's hope you crack it. This time, how many you have had several attempts at the UPSC?
Yes, sir. I was not selected in prelims in any of the stages. This was my first mains, sir.
First mains and first interview. Excellent. Yes. And how did your mains go?
So it was good, but I really can't comment more than that.
Okay. Both of us are of the opinion that you are an outstanding candidate, excellent candidate, at least in the interaction. If you have done your mains well, you should be cracking the exam, right? Thanks to your background, you come from the army background. I didn't deliberately ask any questions on the army, but otherwise there will be prepared. There will be few questions on the army, whether it's Agniveers,
yes,
whether
sir.
it's the theater commands.
Yes, sir.
Right? There could be questions and maritime security.
Yes, sir.
In particular, but there could be, and why Jabalpur? Why is Jabalpur is hub of so many army activities when there is no border nearby? No, there could be questions on that also.
Yes,
so
sir.
Just think of these issues, and then there could be any question on the Gaganauts also. The
Yes.
the Gaganauts, the recently selected ones. There could be a few questions of that. One thing that we noticed, I would like to point out to you is that you need to be more precise in your answers.
Okay,
you give quite long answers. You know, that panelists have to cut you short.
All right.
That should not occur. Be precise, hit the nail on the head. Your dad being a serving army officer, I think he should be able to tell you how to make a presentation.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Just on any question, the questions in the interview will come from your DAF.
Yes, sir.
All right? From your DAF and the newspapers.
Yes, sir.
The panel will have only access to your DAF, and if there is a subject specialist, he will she will ask you questions on that.
Yes, sir.
On your DAF, identify all the key points,
Yes, sir.
and questions can be asked, like the Harappan sites, Indus Valley sites in Rohtak,
Yes, sir.
in Haryana.
Yes, sir.
Why Haryana is so progressive.
Yes, sir.
The drugs problem is in Punjab, not so much in Haryana.
Yes, sir.
Why Mewat in Haryana has become the second Jamtara.
Mm-hmm.
Questions like on Haryana, there could be several questions.
Yes,
On
sir.
Khaps,
Yes.
being a girl and a Jat girl, there could be somebody could ask you about Khaps, their
Yes.
relevance or irrelevance, Supreme Court's opinion about it.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
So be prepared on your DAF, and you are very good. Work on the economics.
Yes.
Economic survey was released on 31st of no, 1st January, I guess. 1st January 2024.
Economic review.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So just go through it. It
Yes.
would give you very good pointers.
Yes, sir.
And economy and other things, budget, economy, you should be aware of that. Being a woman psychologist,
Yes, sir.
think of the issues of women-related issues. He asks you about UCC. There
Yes.
could be questions about age of consent,
Yes, sir.
right? Surrogacy laws. So just be prepared for those. You come across as an excellent candidate. You should be cracking. I will be surprised if you don't. If you have done mains well, provided you have done mains well, you should be scoring anything upwards of 180. Okay.
All right.
You are excellent candidate. Keep your answers precise, to the point,
Yes.
concise, and you should be nailing it. That's what I would like to recommend.
All right, sir.
Minimum mocks.
Yes, sir.
If you have any questions, please ask after my colleague is finished. Anil, please tell her if I have left anything. Please add to that.
He has already covered. The answer should be very crisp and precise. How to do that? Now, whenever you do preparation or listen some news or read some paper or have something, write some bullet points in your diary.
All right, sir.
Most
Yes.
important point first.
Yes,
So
sir.
immediately, if it's already you have read about that, so that should come straight. And your answer should be also in bullet points. 45 seconds.
Okay, sir.
See, you know too much about the subject, okay, but we don't want to hear. Once you start speaking, we know you know the answer and
Yes.
you are doing it well. So we want to go to another idea.
Yes, sir.
Each member will have about 5 to 6 minutes to talk to you. He
Yes.
will have 4 or 5 different areas of question ready with him. And
Yes.
he comes from DAF, current affairs, economy, international, he will have. So if you spend 1.5 minutes with one question, he will be left with no time.
Yes,
So
sir.
remember, you have to respect your time and his time also.
Yes, sir.
So that is the way of preparation. Keep reading newspaper and including finance papers. अब international news के लिए TV जो Vintage, the Palki Sharma, you might be
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's okay.
Already.
print. Note down the bullet points and speak in that very crisp manner. That is the only
All
advice.
right.
Or very good. No advice is required. Okay.
Okay, Anjana, all the very best. Do well, nail it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, you
Sir.
can leave now.
Good afternoon, sir.
Any questions?
Sir, no, I think so. You
Okay.
have covered it all.
Great. All the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.